What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Blazing Toku.
We're doing Shin! We're doing Shin!
As always, yes, we are doing Shin.
Can't fight me.
With me, as always, is my lovely wife and co-host.
I'm Stormy.
And
I informed you of what we're watching.
Well, yes. Like we spoke last week after we did Gojira, we are here to talk about 2016's Shin Godzilla. It also goes under, I think, nobody calls it this, by the way. I remember some trailers called it this, but I remember nobody calls it this.
What is it?
All. Godzilla Revengeance or something like that, or Resurgence or something.
Sounds familiar, so like maybe, but I don't remember it.
I don't know
no one
anyone
calls it that.
who actually calls it that. Like, everyone's just like, oh yeah, Shin Godzilla.
Didn't you do this movie before?
Yes.
Actually?
This was on either the second or third year, no, or maybe even the first year of the Toku Moviethon, which were on Twitter, so they are long gone.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt any of you guys have actually read the ones I did on Twitter.
I did.
So this is a remastering, and this is a movie that we are also completing the trifecta, because last year we covered Shin Ultraman and Shin Kamen Rider, and I guess that by the end of this video we can decide which is the best of the three.
Oh, interesting.
While also talking about Godzilla this was the first Godzilla movie in a long time, which was in 2016. Yeah.
Maybe we should have looked at like when the movie before had come out. Like when was the last time?
The last one in the Millennium series, which was Final Wars. I think Final Wars.
Really, all the way in like the 2000s or like early 2000s.
Early to mid 2000s. Yeah. Like it had been like I think 8 to 10 years by the time we got Shin.
Wow.
But meanwhile, it was right near.
And now we have a lot.
Meanwhile, it was right near when this came out 2 years after Godzilla 2014. Like the first legendary one.
Oh, the movie from 2016 came out 2 years after the 2014 movie?
I didn't know what else to call it. The one with the Mutos.
The one with the Mutos.
Yeah, the Mutos. You remember those guys. But this is a movie, if at the time, just to reiterate, we like this movie.
Yeah, this is a good movie.
We have watched this both subbed, we've watched this dubbed.
Many times.
Like, this was like our 5th or 6th time we've seen it.
So it's good.
Yeah, it's good. I'm leaving it out of the way. It's a recommend.
Yeah.
All these Shin movies are good. And this was just another instance of Godzilla becoming terrifying again. Which is very...
I forget how, like, because I like see, like, the images of him, like, either as, like, toys or images, just still images and stuff, but, like, God, seeing it in motion, he really is just terrifying looking. He looks a little bit like a rabid wild animal, a little bit.
Yeah, he's like, oh my god, it's like the fact that we never actually see what Godzilla was. Like, and here's what I will say when it comes to this movie. Where I think where it excels is the real world reality of not knowing what the fuck we would do on a Godzilla.
Yeah, like, it's a little bit of a critique on that as well, of just like, people would just be talking about what to do without actually doing anything for a long time.
But then meanwhile, it's also constantly evolving, so you can't also just sit there because you don't know what the fuck it is. It's like, they were like, oh, there's no way it's gonna come on land. It would crush itself if it starts going on land. Oh.
Uh-oh.
What are we
vomiting boiling blood. Uh-oh.
Yeah, and then, like, the heat ray just happened. But
God, the way that they did the heat ray of it just coming out as, like, hot air, turning to, like, fire, and it just like narrowing down, and then just, like, it's, like... It's just,
that is still one of the coolest
You can tell this guy made... Yeah, you can tell this guy's made anime before, because that was anime as fuck in such a cool way.
I don't... Oh my god, I wish I remembered the director's name, but he's the guy who did Shin Ultraman as well. That's why we got the cool thing in Shin Ultraman where it was like Shin Godzilla and then went like paint, Shin Ultraman.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was a great little reference.
Their Jiras and I think Gomez were just the Shin model and they added the stuff to it.
Nice.
So, but like that's the cool part of it. Just to get, I would say maybe the immediate flaws, like I don't really care about any of the characters.
That's a very
They're
common
just
complaint in
suits.
just Godzilla movies,
Yeah,
honestly.
they're just suits. They're just government officials just being like, and like I'm not
The
saying like they're
talking points,
dislikable. Like that's what
yeah.
I will say. They're not terrible, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, no, I couldn't tell you their names, and we just told you we've watched this 6 times.
It doesn't matter. We're all there for Godzilla.
Yeah, like the Godzilla scenes, and I like their reactions to it, just being like, well, and this is a movie, and this is a weird thing to say. Watch it in Japanese first. That'd
Yeah.
be my recommendation. It's like you can watch either or. Like I think the English dub is not terrible, but like definitely.
Yeah, out of all the like the dubs, like that one's actually pretty fairly solid.
Well,
If like you have like trouble reading or something like that, where it's like it's or like you don't have very good sight or something like it's perfectly suitable.
yeah, but then like
But like, if you can, definitely like I suggest it.
yeah, and I feel like there's definitely just certain areas that would come off a little bit differently though when you're hearing a voice actor kind of do a voice and act through somebody else's expressions, but also them not obviously be their voice.
Honestly, like this does like pose an interesting question that you actually brought up to me, just like in like conversation, of just like because like of our love of like tokusatsu and like watching like live action shows and stuff where it is like subbed
Versus dub.
but versus dubbed, like, it just is subbed because that's just it doesn't usually get to dub. It never gets to that stage really.
Until Ultraman.
Yeah, until Ultraman like stepped up the plate. Thank you, Subaraya. We appreciate you as usual.
We say as we do a Toho movie.
Yeah. But of just the appreciation of like the acting of like from the Japanese actor itself without like a dub being over it. Like you come to like appreciate like the emotion and everything that is like that the actor themselves is producing. Like again, dub actors are not bad whatsoever. I'm not dissing them or anything, but it really does hit different
It does.
with like subs instead.
And it's one of those things to me to where it's like it's just because it's like you can't replicate in the moment like voice trembles and everything else. It's like you can do that really well, but it's like
You'd have to be one hell of a voice actor
exactly.
to replicate
It's like
that.
and there are some great ones out there, like just voice actors in general, but like it also just has that weird feeling to where it's like it's I'm not gonna say it feels disingenuous, but it's like you can tell that it's not what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And
There's almost like a little bit of like that disconnect.
well, then it's like as soon as you get that disconnect, it kind of destroys like what the scene is going for.
Mm-hmm.
But then this movie has some excellent scenes of just pure destruction, like when you see him in his second form. I think it's the Kamata-kun form. And like you just see him crush a building, and you just see this family trying to get their bags and just leave, only to just
with
die.
like their son or something, like their kid.
Yeah, exactly. It's
you see them all just fall onto like a window, and then you see the building just.
and meanwhile, Godzilla doesn't even seemingly know what the fuck he did.
He's just Godzilla is basically just a fish that got too big for its pond. Like it's just kind of bad circumstance of an animal that had to go to a different environment because it didn't fit in its own anymore, or it changed.
Well,
exactly.
But
Which is like even something that the beautiful, amazing music like does, like with like the opera and everything that's in it.
Yes.
I did want to bring up like with like the destruction that you were talking about though, because again, like we already know that Hideaki Anno, that's the right name, right?
He was the guy who wrote it, yeah.
Okay, thank goodness.
He's the writer.
I mix up names a lot, so I'm just making sure. Obviously he did Evangelion, like he knows anime and everything. He produces this kind of stuff, he watches this kind of stuff as well. And like
well, he's a Godzilla fan.
Like it's visually very stunning. I really like that. It's like
much he had to do with the visuals.
Well, whoever did it did a good job.
Well,
I don't care.
But
I'm just saying, like, it felt like how it was written and everything. It made sense with how it looked. Of like there was like all these muted colors, but like when there was a color, it really popped, like the purple or the red or something like that. But like with the destruction, like there was so much like detail that you would miss otherwise if it wasn't like a little model.
Yeah.
Unless it was like physically a miniature, thank you. Like unless it was like physically in front of you that you usually wouldn't think of for CGI, like, oh, when there was like rumblings, like all of like the ceiling tiles on a house, I remember just like started clanking together and like starting to slide off.
You just see
like the clay shingles or whatever they were. Like I was just like, what a great attention to detail.
And the CGI still looks really good.
Oh yeah, it's aged wonderfully.
It's weird to think that it's not a suit because it looks that good.
Yeah.
There was only maybe one shot near the end that I think looks kind of.
I remember you pointed that one out, and we were like, ooh, but like that's it.
But like
honestly.
that's it. Like
it matters where it matters. Yeah.
Great. They pick up this little nasty fucker really well. Like he's a little goblin, just to be alive.
Yeah, he wants to die. Like just he doesn't want to exist. He's in just constant, ceaseless agony. He looks like he doesn't want. Like when he's like spitting up the laser, it really does kind of feel more just like, what's happening to me?
Oh yeah.
Rather than just like, I'm a powerful being. It felt like it was just having like just it just like doesn't want to live.
Oh yeah, the atomic breath, by the way.
Atomic breath. Thank you. I couldn't remember the name for
Neither
some
could
reason.
I, but
it's been a long day. Sorry.
But like it's just such a good movie, and I like how long we actually took to talk about like Hideaki Anno's involvement into this, because it's like I always, and I'm not. This is the first Hideaki Anno thing I had ever watched. Therefore, that means it's the first thing you ever watched. Yeah. I showed this to you first.
You were the one that introduced me to it. Yeah.
And so it's like I don't really have this bias, because there's so many people who consider this the best Godzilla film, but then they always bring up because it's Hideaki Anno. And
yeah, I think that's how we discovered Evangelion, was through Shin Godzilla, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, we
were just
like,
those guys that made the Shin Godzilla
guy. Did a robot anime.
We're in, and
then
it broke us, and then it broke us. Like,
yeah, but what? What do you mean it broke us?
We say it's sad.
Evangelion. What are you talking about? All this merch? This isn't here.
Yeah, there isn't like a lot that you're not seeing right now.
Either way, he definitely did a good job. Like I said, the director did a phenomenal job. Like this and Shin Ultraman are so good. Like
it's visually good. The music is good. Like it's just such like almost like a laid back vibe until Godzilla shows up and you're just like, oh.
Yeah, when Godzilla shows up, it is fucking terrifying.
It's like he's like legitimately terrifying.
Like, oh fuck, we're doomed.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically. Could you imagine if like we just suddenly had like basically like a King Kong like creature in the middle of town, just like scared and like smashing stuff? I mean, it's basically the same situation of just there's a giant thing wrecking havoc. It's confused. We're scared. Everything's on fire.
Okay, do you have any favorite scenes?
That's hard.
Like the Who Will Know scene is like one of the most iconic.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing is this
the death, Godzilla's death is really this movie has been kind of talked to death. I do want to say I noticed something interesting because we rewatched Shin, because we've already seen Godzilla -1 and we're gonna talk about that. That's next week. But I noticed in this, like, there was, like, a callback in -1 that might have been a reference to Shin, or maybe it was just a coincidence of just... I'm not going to say anything that happens in -1. We're saving that.
Wait until next week.
But it's basically, like, a second where Godzilla freezes. Like, not, like, literally, but... Except for Shin. Shin, literally.
He literally...
But, like, just, like, a little, like, crack, basically. And, like, just, like, that little, like, stun and then just silence after, like, such a loud noise. And, like, you see, like, almost every character just, like, did it work? You know, like, something along those... I don't know.
-1 had a couple moments like
yeah,
that.
That was really good. Did I say too much about -1? Was that okay?
No.
Okay. I don't want to say too much.
Also, like, when the jets were coming in, when they found out he could shoot his atomic breath throughout his dorsal plates.
Yeah, well, the whole thing with, like, the atomic breath was just so beautiful. The first time you see it light up purple. And is this the one where, like, his, like, spikes pop up?
No, that was -1.
Okay.
This is the one where his whole back starts to light up and his jaw unhinges.
Yeah, at the very, very end with Shin, where it's like you just see all of, like, the, like, awesome, like, Godzilla humanoids that are sticking out of its tail.
That was evolving off his, like, tail.
Which it's like, by the way, that design is just... I wish I could have seen it, like, more.
Out of the 2 cliffhangers that we're going to be talking about with these first 3 movies, even though we never did anything with it, I still think I like it better as an eerie ending than what -1 did. I'll give it that one.
The ending of -1 is definitely something that we will be
That will be next
discussing.
week. We will
If you
talk
know,
about
you
-1
know, and
next
if you
week.
don't, you'll find out next week.
But okay, let's talk about it. Like, let's talk about this compared to the other 3 Shin movies.
Mm-hmm.
Weirdly enough, it's not that I think this is bad.
I think it's my
I
least
prefer
favorite.
the other 2
Same.
because I think the characters are better.
Same.
So it literally has the one thing this needed was really good and fun characters to enjoy.
Yeah, I feel like that was basically where it does drag. Again, granted, I understand why.
Well, no,
but
yeah, it's like I'm not even mad.
I'm not mad or
well,
anything,
here's the
but
thing.
I feel like I feel like this was really good. We're going to watch this movie again
We've
at some
watched it
point.
before,
We've watched
we'll
it this
watch
many
again.
times. We're gonna watch it more. I'm gonna appreciate it every time. I love this movie. I'm probably gonna see it more than the other
And
movies.
especially if somebody wants to watch it, I'd be like, I would love to watch it with them if they've never seen or heard anything for it.
Yeah, like especially if they're just like, oh yeah, Godzilla. You know, like I would love to show them because it's just so different.
Well, no, it's going back to original. Like this feels like Gojira.
Like I'm really happy that we're almost getting to compare Gojira this and -1 because I feel like that's
no, yeah,
almost
we did
like
that on
that's like the
purpose.
trifecta of like conversation right now.
Well, that and it's like this. They feel very similar
Mm-hmm.
in my
Of just
opinion.
like the original and then the other two trying to like almost like harpen back to it
Well,
in different ways. Like because Shin it's going back to the original in like theming ways.
Of just like, what the fuck do we do when Godzilla shows up?
Of
Which
just like
was a big
like Godzilla being a threat. First of all, the radiation being a factor and important. The fact that it is
Yeah, I like how they mentioned at one point when they were putting on their suits.
They don't
you
have
might die of radiation poisoning.
There isn't another giant thing for them to fight where it's like not either another monster or a mecha something or other like that. It is humanity fisticuffs with the giant monster.
But unlike the original
and
Gojira,
critiques on the
there's no
Japanese
oxygen.
government because they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Is what I believe.
Well, and there's no oxygen destroyer in this one.
And there is no oxygen destroyer.
They figure out because they use it. They actually just treat Godzilla like an animal. Of like, what do you do? And technically, they never fully defeated him. They just froze him, and they're like, he could wake up. And that's kind of like the eeriness it ends on.
Of just like, good. I guess this is just in the middle of the city now.
Our house
this is just
in the middle
here.
of the street. But
can you imagine like if like you're some poor bastard that like lived in an apartment building, you're like, home sweet home, you go in, you open the fucking curtains and it's just staring directly at you, like you just happen to be like right in like the site.
I want
like,
to zip line through the Shin Godzilla head, so
oh god, that looks so fun. I want to go to Japan so bad. I'd love to visit.
So okay, wait, out of the 3 Shin movies, which one's your favorite?
That's actually a little bit tough. The only solid thing I can say is that the Godzilla one is like my least favorite of the 3, just because I just kind of preferred the other 2 a little bit more.
But it's something I love. Like that's the weird thing. It's like I think it's super funny. It's video and its review.
Yeah.
And we're being like, you're not.
It's amazing. We've watched it so many times. We're gonna watch it so many other times. Third.
You get third place.
But I kind of agree. I think Kamen Rider would probably be my first one.
Ultraman.
I think I probably do. Look, you catch me on a different day. I feel like I'd answer differently.
Well,
I think, harpening back to like, I'm saying that too much. Like thinking back to like how I felt originally when we both watched them. I think I probably do prefer Ultraman, but like I feel like it depends on what vibes I'm going for. It's just like
we need to watch those again.
I think we do need to watch those again just for like funsies, but I feel like Kamen Rider has like a slightly more depressing note, which I love. I love that kind of stuff. But I feel like Ultraman, I feel like Ultraman has like.
Ultraman had the funness factor of Ultraman.
Yeah, it felt very Ultraman, and I mean, it didn't have like a happy ending, but it didn't like.
It had a hopeful ending.
I'd say hopeful. Yeah, that's probably better. I don't know. Like I guess like probably Ultraman, but it's a close one. It's a close one.
Like again, and I love all 3 of these movies.
Yes, they're all good. I recommend all 3. Watch all 3. They're all good.
Yeah. Evangelion, if that's your taste. I don't know how to recommend Evangelion.
It's a weird one. It's definitely a weird one. If you like, I guess I can almost say like vintage anime at this point. Like, It's one of the first like mecha anime.
It's not one of the first. Don't
Yeah,
say that.
yeah, I can't say that. Like things like Gundam existed for
Big
so long.
O, a bunch.
That's fair. Like I mean, it's probably what popularized it, at least in like more Western cultures, I guess.
Well, I don't even know if that, because we still had Gundam Wing, but.
Well, yeah, I said Gundam.
But like, again, it's just one of those.
It's
really
good.
Popular...
I'd say it's good.
Yeah,
I'd recommend it. I'd say look it up. Maybe get a little synopsis and then just see if it interests you, like most anime. So.
I guess yeah. I'm about to say just look into it. But the other 3 movies we can recommend. We technically do have 2. If you want to see our thoughts on Shin Ultraman and Shin Kamen Rider. Was it last year? Was that when we talked about it?
Oh my god, I think it was.
Yeah, I'm about to say those were.
Check out the last Moviethon, I guess.
Because they had just come out, so and I feel like that's something that this doesn't have had the benefit of. It's been around longer. 2016. Yeah. The other 2 just came out. So.
Yeah,
I don't know. Do you have anything else you really want to say about Shin Godzilla? We've been going at this for a little bit.
It's funny because we probably haven't actually been talking about Shin Godzilla that much. We've been talking about things like around it mostly.
But it's so good, and it's like, but we said what we wanted about it. It's like.
I mean, again, like this movie's just been talked to death. I guess one more thing I'll mention, just because I forgot to, when Godzilla opened up his mouth and his like chin split for like the thing, that was really cool.
It was. But yeah, no. What do you guys think of Shin Godzilla? Share your guys' favorite moments. I'm realizing I was going to be like, oh yeah, we need to say what we're doing next week. No, we don't. We were telling everyone we're doing -1.
What did I just say?
Yeah, we're doing.
We did Shin. So doing the other stuff now.
We're now going to -1. I'm about to say, I think we just finished our roadmap for this year, so.
Yeah, it's pretty much just going to be a couple cherry picking, I think, after that. Pretty much.
Well, yeah, I think we'll see. We'll see what we'll do. Bellarock will tell us what we're doing in the weeks after that.
I miss him.
How do you miss him? He's like through that door right over there. Don't bother him. So it's going to be very exciting what we have in the following weeks. But yeah, tell us what your favorite of the Shin movie is. When did you guys first watch Shin Godzilla? And again, tell us your thoughts. Tell us your favorite scenes. Do you think it's the best of the 3 Shin movies? And tell us why. Like, it's like, is there any real reason?
I like talking about this movie. It's fun.
Is it just so self-contained? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's the only one. It's set up for a sequel, but it's like I don't think any of the characters would necessarily have to come back.
I feel like it's like potential if we get the chance. You know, this is what we would do next, kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's like, would it be Godzilla people? Like, because it's like, that's the other thing. Is
it's like a zombie movie, but it's a bunch of
those things were to death. Like, what are we gonna say outside of they were creepy?
They were really cool. I love the design. It's just like a zombie movie, but it's a bunch of like little fucking Godzilla goblins just running around.
Oh, I fucking hate it. I hate it.
And they're all just like shooting. Like, if you scare them, they just shoot lasers out like a porcupine.
Oh God, no! It's a species now. But yeah, no. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed it. I feel like I've tried to wrap it up 3 times.
Hi, that's my fault. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you.
Yep. So, until next week where we talk about -1, I guess load up Netflix. Oh, I don't know what we're going to do for the table next week. Because we don't got any Godzilla -1 stuff.
Uh-oh.
It's that new.
Is that new, yeah.
You know what? I will save some of my comments about stuff about around -1 for the video. I almost said something here, but let's just let them leave. We'll get to it next week.
We've talked your ears off enough. Thank you for listening.
Until then,
bye-bye.